On September 26th, the Oakland Athletics played their final home game at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. 57 years of history from 1968 to 2024. It's all over. The A's will be relocating to Sacramento, California, apparently, and then they're going to be going off to Vegas. They're supposed to be building a stadium where the old Tropicana casino used to be. Now, I will admit, I didn't care about the A's all this season. I'll admit it. Yeah, granted, I'm a hypocrite for wearing the hat and the jersey. I mentioned in the I Was There video, I was done supporting the team. They were a side team to me anyway. I'm rooting for the Giants. I've always rooted for the Giants. 35 years as a Giants fan, I'm sticking with them. But I watched that game, and I'm glad to see the A's not only win that final game 3-2, but win the series. So good on them. When I watched that game at the Coliseum, I had 2004 vibes, Montreal Expos vibes. Their fans really care about this team, and I feel for them because I know what it's like to have a team move and a team fold, especially when the team folding won the championship in that same year. But I'm going to be a little positive here. Since I'm not coming back to the Coliseum, I'm going to go ahead and give you my memories. So I'm going to give you 5 memories or 5 games I went to, and I have a few honorable mentions in between. And I have made I Was There videos for some of these games, and ones I haven't, I figure I'd go ahead and just catch you up and just talk about it. So the first one was the A's hosting the Angels, September 26, 2000. This is significant because I found the place I wanted to sit at regularly at A's games. It was the left field bleachers. This was back when all the rowdies were waving flags and the drummers were drumming the drums. It wasn't much of a game. They were playing the Angels, who were lowly. The A's were looking to clinch the NL West, and they did on the final day of the 2000 season. The A's, despite trailing 2-0 to the Angels in the top of the first, they blew up for 5 runs. It wasn't a contest. The A's won 10-3. I made it on TV for a few times on there. Giambi went 1 for 4 with a 3-run homer. Miguel Tejada was amazing. He went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Hudson, this was his early Moneyball phase. 8 innings, 5 strikeouts. He did fantastic. Number 4, A's versus Blue Jays, August 1st, 2000. This was a tight pitching contest, and it was, funnily enough, it was between one current athletic at the moment and one future athletic. So Barry Zito versus Esteban Loaiza. I might have covered him on an I Was There video I did about one of the games. It was weird weather on the 1st of August of that year. It was very cloudy, humid. It looked like it was going to rain. It was so dark that the stadium lights came on. That's how dark it got. Tony Batista would put the Jays on the board. They would strike first with an RBI single in the 6th inning. And then Jeremy Giambi joined the team. Rest in peace, Jeremy Giambi. And he tied it in the 7th inning. Randy Velarde would hit a walk-off 2-run home run in the 10th inning. Number 3, A's versus Yankees, May 15th, 2001. Boy, was this a long night. I drove to the Coliseum, but I had to pick up my friend in San Jose, so he was on the way. I picked him up. I told him, hey, I got a couple tickets. Let's go see the A's. So bumper-to-bumper traffic on the 880. And this was before I started riding BART to the Coliseum up in, for the rest of the time I used to go to A's games. And my car must have just was going through an endurance test that night. And my 86 Olds maybe died a couple of times during that traffic jam. We made it to the game, and this one went a long time. Now, this was a nice privileged game that I got to see. I got to see Tim Hudson against Roger Clemens. And it was pretty tight here. So the A's took a 2-0 lead after the 1st inning, and then David Justice would tie the game in the 6th inning with a sacrifice fly. Now, in the bottom of the 9th, the A's had a shot to win. You had runners on 2nd and 3rd. Frank Menachino was at the plate. Eric Chavez was at 3rd base. Menachino hits a fly ball. Everyone thought that was deep enough, and maybe Chavez can tag up and score and win. No, it wasn't. No, Chuck Knobloch was able to throw out Eric Chavez after a sac fly. So we'd be sitting there for a few innings. This would go to the 12th inning. The bases were loaded in the bottom of the 12th, and Adam Pyatt, who just got called up from Sacramento when the River Cats were the A's AAA affiliate, rips a fair ball down the line, and that's when the A's won, and the time of the game was about 4 hours and 30 minutes. Now, this wasn't over. I had to drive back home, but I had to drive my friend to El Cerrito, which is about 20 minutes away from the Coliseum. Driving home from El Cerrito, I didn't get home until 2 o'clock in the morning. And on top of that, I was tired. I was exhausted. I was beyond just drained. My body was getting ready to shut down. There were moments where I didn't hit REM sleep while I was at the wheel, but I was falling asleep and I was doing everything to stay awake. This was after midnight. I had the Giants game going, the midnight replay. I don't know how I did it, but I got home when I should have just pulled over and just took a cat nap and went home. So I got home about 2 in the morning and I put on Field of Dreams and I zonked right out there. Okay, number 2, A's versus White Sox, August 16th, 2007. I made a video for this, so I won't take long. This was the game I went to before I got married. Had I went to the game on August 17th, so it was the eve of my wedding, I would have seen the A's get hammered by the Royals, and I think I would have been exhausted. I think I would have came home from the Coliseum. Granted, I would still take BART from the Coliseum back to Fremont and then drive home, but I would have been exhausted, and I tell you, I had a big day the next day. So, and my wife didn't want me going to Oakland by myself at night, which I've done it many times, so I don't see what the problem was. But I went in the afternoon, and I'm glad I did. It was a great game indeed. The A's and White Sox just traded the lead back and forth. The White Sox had a 3-0 lead. Then the A's caught up and took a 4-3 lead after Piazza hit a 2-run homer. Then the Sox tied in the 6th, and then the Sox took the lead in the 7th. Shannon Stewart of the A's would tie the game in the 7th inning with a home run. Go all the way to the 10th inning, and that's when Kurt Suzuki hit a 3-run home run, walk-off, put on the board, yes. Okay, before I reveal number 1, I have some honorable mentions. First one was A's and Orioles. This isn't from the game I went to in 2000. This was from August 16th, 2005. After a Mark Kotsay homer, the A's tied the game in the 6th inning. And then in the 7th inning, after a throwing error, which everyone thought the umpire Chris Guccione, who was at first base, screwed that up. No, it was a throwing error that I guess the ball wasn't dug out as well. The runner was called safe, and then the wheels came off. Baltimore scored 3 runs. They were up 4-1. The A's did try a little bit. Kendall had an infield single in the 7th to bring the A's within 2. Kotsay got another RBI, and the A's lost 4-3. But the funny thing was, 2 things. After Guccione, we thought Guccione just screwed it up, and so every time a fielder caught a ball, runners called out, batters out, and they were saying, no, he's safe, he's safe. So everything was opposite. It was pretty much opposite up until the end of the game. The second thing was, this was the last time I would see Rafael Palmeiro in person, because Palmeiro retired, I'd say about 3 weeks after this game. And this was during the whole steroid scandal. Boy, that was a complicated history. So this is the last time I saw Palmeiro play. It was just a lot of laughs, even in defeat. Hanging out in left field, it's always funny. Second honorable mention, the A's versus the Dodgers, June 16th, 2006. I brought my friend with me who's now living in Nevada, and we were hanging out in the bleachers, and it was the last time I would see Barry Zito play for the A's. He would go to the Giants the following season. And Zito did fine. 8 innings pitched, he gave up 3 runs, struck out 11. Dodgers took a 2-1 lead after Kenny Lofton hit a 2-run single. Then the A's took the lead with RBIs by Marco Scutaro and Jay Payton. When Chavez hit a 2-run homer in the 5th inning, the A's never looked back. They were up 5-2. They ended up winning the game 7-3. And this was when we were introduced to Matt Kemp. He was a rookie in 2006 playing left field, and we all kept calling him Waterboy. No one's ever seen this guy before, and we just looked at him. We're wondering, hey, who's this new kid? He's Waterboy or something? And during the bottom of the innings when Kemp was out in left field, the drummers just let him have it. They called him Bobby Boucher, Waterboy. It was great. Little did we know that he would go on to become a 3-time All-Star. Honorable mention number 1, A's versus Rangers, my 27th birthday in 2004. This will be the 4th birthday game I went to since 1991. It was looking good at first. The A's took a 2-1 lead on a 2-run single by Erubio Durazo. And then the wheels came off. Mark Teixeira had a solid game. He hit 4 RBIs. That included a 3-run homer in the 5th inning. Mark Mulder was the starter of that game. Again, it'll be the last time. I think it'll be the last time I see him before he got traded to St. Louis, and he just got lit up. 6 innings pitched. He gave up 11 hits and 8 runs. All of those were earned runs. By the 7th inning, the Rangers were up 8-2, and there was no way the A's were winning this game. The Rangers ended up winning 10-3, and I would say once it became a blowout and we were just watching garbage time, it became like a little social hangout. I got to talk to people around me. When I was there at the bleachers, I had some birthday streamers on me. I was wearing something to say, hey, today's my birthday, pay attention to me. And I pretty much did. A lot of people were saying, wishing me a happy birthday and stuff. So it was things like that. Even though I didn't know any of these people in left field, I just talk with them, laugh with them as if I did know them. So I appreciated when I was going out in left field. I actually got to meet people, know their names, and it was great. It was like everyone knew each other. It was a great party, and that was probably one of the highlights of just going to an A's game and sitting in left field. Now that I've got the honorable mentions out of the way, I'm going to talk about the number one A's game I went to. A's versus Braves, June 10th, 2003. Done a video on it. In fact, I've referenced it many times when I was doing videos about going to A's games. Game went 12 innings, the quickest 12 innings I've ever been to, clocking at under 3 hours. The A's had a 3-0 lead, then the Braves came back. They tied it in the top of the ninth on a Robert Fick home run. Then in the 12th inning, Jermaine Dye hits a homer to center off of Jung Bong. Ball game over, and that was a lot of fun. So that's it. Those are some of the fond memories I have, and I have more, and I've talked about some during videos I've made. How about you guys? Now the era of the A's playing at the Coliseum is over, what memories do you have? I know you probably have better memories than I do. I mean, I went to ordinary run-of-the-mill games. Yes, I did see Reggie Jackson get his number retired in 2004. I think that was a very significant one. But what about you guys? I'm sure you guys been to a lot of postseason games. I'm sure you've seen the A's during their 20-game winning streak in 2002. Leave it at the comment, like, share, subscribe, and until then, I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.